Hi, I'm Thorn Bishop, and welcome to Top Secret Inc. Today we'll be walking through Grimm Fairy Tales presents Alice in Wonderland's Issue 3 by Zenescope Comics. So get comfortable, because it's going to be one hell of a ride. Now we step into issue number 3 with the Mad Hatter in his walk-in closet, looking for something spiffy to wear. Apparently he's having company over, and in Wonderland, that's never a good sign. Before he can find a nice shirt, out pops the Queen of Spades, looking absolutely stunning in her signature shadowy liquid darkness. Because nothing says Casual Tuesday like a supernatural monarch materializing in your wardrobe. They're having a heart-to-heart conversation about old times, and she's giving him a little parting gift. It's called the Death Blade, and here's where we learn some crucial information about Wonderland's rules. You really can't die here. You can be killed, sure, but you just kind of resurrect yourself in the near future, like some kind of twisted video game respawn. But the Death Blade, well, that delivers permanent death. And just look at the Mad Hatter. He's absolutely thrilled to accept this kind gift without even asking if she wants anything in return. Because when the Queen of Darkness hands you a weapon of ultimate destruction, you definitely don't ask any questions. Now, we jump back to Alice, and she can definitely confirm that this girl has absolutely no concerns when it comes to breaking and entering someone's home. Hey, if the door's not locked, then are you really committing a crime? The house is very clean, with family photos on the wall, and it looks nice and cozy, like a nice place to get some rest. She's confronted by Louise, a very attractive middle-aged woman, who exchanges pleasantries and invites Alice in for a cup of tea. Louise mentions she doesn't get many guests in this neck of the woods. Unknown to Alice, her gracious host is about to roofie her with some sleeping mushroom powder because apparently hospitality has a very loose definition in Wonderland. Louise keeps trying to get Alice to drink the tea, but Alice keeps finding excuses. She hasn't taken a sip of it yet. Smart girl. Considering her recent track record with Wonderland encounters, Alice starts telling Louise her story about how she ended up in Wonderland and all the recent close encounters of death. Finally, the tea cools down and Alice takes a nice swig because she's absolutely parched from being attacked multiple times today. Suddenly, Alice starts to feel a little woozy. Then she slams her head right into the coffee table, smashing it like a pro wrestler, like WWE would be proud. Now that Alice has been incapacitated, Louise decides this would be a perfect time to get completely undressed. She starts peeling off all the layers of clothing, then grabs the side of her face and removes what appears to be a mask. Plot twist here, Louise was really the Mad Hatter in disguise. He puts on a suit, tie, and a hat, then picks up the unconscious girl and carries her out of the living room because nothing says gentleman like cross-dressing to drug a teenager. The scene moves to a tea party happening in the woods, because this is Wonderland, and of course it does. Here we have the March Hare, his servant Cook, and another guest. The Mad Hatter shows up carrying poor little Alice like she's a party favor. The Hatter talks to the March Hare about their agreement to exchange the little girl for some medicinal items for parting use. Then Alice wakes up, and the March Hare introduces himself as her new owner. At this point, the Mad Hatter looks at his earnings and realizes he's been shortchanged. Like, even in Wonderland, no one gets ripped off in a business deal here. The March Hare tells the Mad Hatter to walk away, or else he'll have Cook soften him up. The Mad Hatter decides, hey, I'm not going to get ripped off here. Pulls out the Death Blade and slashes Cook's throat. He then follows up by stabbing the other guest because why not? He was just kind of in the way. Now it's just him, Alice, and the March Hare. Talk about like clearing the table here. From behind the Mad Hatter, the Cheshire Cat starts to appear slowly from thin air, like the world's most terrifying magic trick. Both Cook and the other guests are slowly disintegrating into some black smoke, like this Death Blade doesn't mess around. The Cheshire Cat opens its mouth and offers to give the Hatter a hand, but really he just opens his mouth and takes a bite of his arm and rips it completely off. The Death Blade is now on the floor. The Mad Hatter is now armless and bleeding, which is probably not how he envisioned this tea party going in the first place. Then, a little dormouse runs over to the severed hand on the ground, bites one of the fingers, and drags it away with the knife. I mean, even the smallest creatures in Wonderland are opportunistic scavengers. The Mad Hunter, understandably furious about this sudden amputation, grabs a steak knife from the table and stabs the Cheshire Cat right in the eye, because if you're going to lose an arm, you might as well take an eye out in return. At this point, a demonic shadow spirit appears out of nowhere, calling himself Death, and announcing he's here to collect those murdered by the Deathblade. This Death Angel dude collects the souls of Cook and the other guests and then just magically floats away like the world's most grim cleanup crew. At this time, you'd think Alice would just be chilling at the table enjoying the rest of her buzz from that magic mushroom. But no, she took off again. I hope you enjoyed the walkthrough today. But here's the thing. You need to get your hands on the actual book. Hit up your local comic shop or grab it from an online vendor. Support these comic book companies because they're the real people busting their asses writing these insane stories. Even though you're hearing about it from me, when you actually read it yourself, I guarantee you'll have a completely different perspective on the whole thing. Trust me, it hits different on paper.